Martin Potter of Britain, who's got through there against Kelly Slater, against Sonny Garcia of Hawaii. Martin Potter once again will be in black. Sonny Garcia here in the white. Garcia's 21 years of age. He's been on the World Professional Masters circuit for 5 years. And he won twice in 1990. Fairly compact performer, just losing his balance. Let's watch him once again. Right hand drops down to keep the balance, and now the tremendous strength here that you see of Martin Potter. Very, very experienced. He's been competing since he was 15 years of age on the circuit. Just a slight flex of the knees there, and takes his shirt off. So that was Martin Potter for you. And the other semi-final will feature Fabio Gouveia of Brazil and Todd Holland of USA. Todd Holland in the white, Gouveia in the black. So here is Todd Holland, 22 years of age, from Florida, and now we see Gouveia. He's been on the tour for 3 years. So far he's only had 1 win, fairly well down on the rankings, but after 3 years on the tour he's well on his way. Let's just see some of the accidents that can occur in this spectacular, probably the most spectacular of all sports. Just shows you how important balance is in surfing at this level.
Don't ever let me be. I only want to be by your side.
I think it's worth saying that not very often is anyone seriously hurt. Well, the women's final featured Jodie Cooper of Australia in the black and Lisa Anderson of the USA. And here we see Lisa Anderson, number 4 in the world rankings, 22 years of age. So good that she often likes to race with the men. Here's the award then for Lisa Anderson, winner of the Arena Biarritz Surf Masters. In 3rd place was Wendy Botha of South Africa. Well, she's now a naturalized Australian. Here we see Wendy in the water. She's currently leading the world rankings with 6,690 points. Here we see her leaving the water, just taking out
I got a
mouth protection.
When I went to Australia.
6,690 points then for Wendy Botha.
Young and then I learned about the problems, because living in South Africa I didn't. And it got easier, you know, because people realize it's not one person's problem, you know, it's the whole country.
So there we see Wendy Botha.
24.
Second on the world circuit, Pauline Mensah of Australia with 6,500 points, and third, Jodie Cooper of Australia with 6,484 points. So both are leads. Mensah is second and Jodie Cooper third.
We don't know if it's you or
Like this?
yeah, okay.
I have friends who are professional rugby league players in Australia, and I train with them in the gym, and some of them have never surfed before, and they came surfing with me, and within 10 minutes of paddling they were on the beach, so tired, and their arms, the next day they cannot lift their arms, and they are, you know, athletes. They spend every day in the gym and running.
So well done then, Wendy Botha. Only third on this occasion, but still maintaining her lead in the women's professional circuit, ahead of Pauline Mensah and Jodie Cooper. You just see Wendy going through her routine here before sinking into the water. A little bit of training there, and well done, Wendy Botha, leading the circuit at the present time. With that in mind, let's take a break. Welcome back to Biarritz, and let's have a look at some of the results of the longboard competition. The longboard, of course, was the ancestor of surfboarding. It was actually born in Biarritz 30 years ago. Many of the people who take part in longboard these days are slightly older, started it before surfing. Balance is so important. Someone taking an early swim there. Notice how they balance on the back of the board. And now to the men's final. Martin Potter of Great Britain, the Fabio Gouveia of Brazil. Potter in the white and Gouveia in the black. There we see Gouveia, and here's Potter loosening up before the big final, and out he comes. Taller of the two men then, Potter, and there's the audience encouraging them. Three main maneuvers in surfing. There's the re-entry, where the surfer goes back into the bottom of the wave, then comes back again down on the same track, making a vertical re-entry. There's the cutback, which you see there. That's when the surfer tries to be in a section that's breaking, goes along in parallel on the wave, then he cuts back into the shoulder of it. And finally there's the floater, when the wave is closing out. He floats over the top of the wave to go further along to make the section. And there's Gouveia again. Hands low just to keep his balance. And Potter looking for a wave so he can keep it going. Remember, the judges are going to be looking for the length of the maneuver as well as the ingredients of that particular maneuver. And he just can't keep that going. The wave's a little bit low there. May suit Gouveia a little bit more. Quite a bit of length on that run. Remember, Gouveia's only won one professional Masters competition ever. So if he can beat Potter today, it'll be a great feather in his cap. He's got something really to aim for. He's only been on the professional circuit for 3 years, so he's a relatively new professional. Bit of a floater there from him. Cutting back, forward cut back. And looking for a wave, but can't get another wave. But there we have it then. It's Fabio Gouveia's day. He's very good in the smaller waves, as we've seen, more or less as in Brazil. So the second win then for Fabio Gouveia. And here we see a rerun. So Fabio Gouveia of Brazil takes the Arena Biarritz surfing event from Martin Potter of Britain with Sonny Garcia. Brad Lynch in third place in the world standings there. So Damien Hardman of Australia stays ahead. The World Professional Masters competition. Career money total this year of $49,000. Second is Brad Gerlich of the USA. He's run up a total of $52,000 this year. And third is Barton Lynch, also of Australia, who's on $45,000. Here we see there, right the way through the tube, some of the great shots that we've had in the last couple of days, some of the great runs. And once again through the tube, tremendous. And just to sit and watch this is an enjoyment in itself. Look at that run right through the tube. And a terrific re-entry there. Well, these are really the best of the runs that you're seeing. So just to recap then, Fabio Gouveia of Brazil wins today, ahead of Martin Potter of Britain. Sonny Garcia from Hawaii in third place. And the world professional rankings see Damien Hardman of Australia still ahead. Brad Gerlich of the USA in second place, and third Barton Lynch, also of Australia. Hardman has got 8,680 points, Gerlich 8,616, just 64 behind, and Lynch in third place with 8,420. And with some of the great shots from the World Professional Masters circuit.
Girl, Anna Gale, and the Aussie Lynn McKenzie. Anna Gale's in the blue shirt, and we'll see Lynn in the white here. Okay, this is Lucia Davy, and in the blue, Patricia Rossi from Tahiti. The girl's getting some really good riding earlier in the week. Poor old Sandy Dryden had to run 1.5 kilometers up the beach before she paddled out to get her next ride. And Lynn McKenzie from Australia, well, she got a good ride in. She's now got to make her way back up the beach. And the team's helping. The time limit, as I said, and this shows the sort of stresses these young competitors are going through. This is Lynn McKenzie getting a little bit of ride now. She's riding it right into the beach, working that soup. Real effort, but the judges are looking, and she's just riding it right into the beach until her skeg grounds on the sand, and she shouldn't give up until she gets right in there. And you can see it's a bit dodgy, 1 or 2 rocks down this end of the beach as well, which don't please the girls too much. In the finals, I should think that is, but look how choppy and sloppy it is. Hard work. So once again, like we've been doing in the show here, get a chance to look back at some of the action during the course of the week. So some of the guys really getting stoked with some of those waves. Small but beautiful earlier during the week. And some nice riding from these amateurs. A few pros of the future, that's for sure. Well, very different stuff as we move into the finals, and we've got an eye on Carl Roux here, the South African. He was telling us earlier, his break down in South Africa often gets like this, the ocean thundering down on the big beaches around Durban, of course. And the boys are fit and they're hungry. 4 right shoulders and your back and your stomach, and when you're riding in, of course, using a whole different set of muscles. Tuned in, this is the finals of the men's Open in the World Amateur Surfing Championships, and my word, appalling conditions. Right, Carl Roux on a wave and riding beautifully towards the break, cuts back and he's riding across it, looking for his opportunities all the time. The wave's breaking back in towards him, but he's still riding it out. He got just in front of that break and he's back on what would normally be green water again. Riding back towards the break, keeps riding it, keeps working it. The wave starts to slow down, get very sloppy. He gets away from the break now, and this is a good long ride here. So this is the man we spoke to earlier, the South African, and the waves dumped and closed down on him, but he's still up there. He's pleased with that ride. And you saw how it just closed down on him. Now, with any luck, he'll just, well, he's had to ride back in again. In a normal condition, without a current pulling down like this, the guys would decide when the wave closed them out, or they'd ride out the back competition. Now, this is Grant Frost, the Australian. Grant Frost, one of the big favourites. He's such a strong rider, he's not going to let these conditions spoil his chances at all.
For some of the coolest bodyboarding action under the sun.
From the North Shore of Oahu in the Hawaiian Islands, the top women bodyboarders from around the world are here to compete in the Mori Boogie Women's International Championship. Competitors from the U.S., Japan, Australia, and Brazil challenge the famous Bonsai Pipeline's awesome waves. It's bodyboarding action at its best. The Mori Boogie Women's International Championship. Hello everybody and welcome to the North Shore of Oahu at what may be the most famous break in the world. We're talking about the Bonsai Pipeline. We're here for the 1992 Mori Boogie Women's International Championship.
The quarterfinals saw unpredictable conditions but exciting action from a truly international field. In heat number 1, Japan's Michiko Uchida found two different swells to be a problem.
As did Biarritz, France's Delphine Maurice, whose choice of wave left her little room for maneuvers. Honolulu, Hawaii's own Sean Oide, who was a local favorite, lived up to expectations by choosing some of the heat's best waves and making some of the biggest moves.
And placing first in the heat was Rio de Janeiro's Isabella Nogueira. Sister Mariana coming up later in the quarterfinals.
These Brazilian women pack a 1-2 punch, with Isabella being the older of the two, and winning the heat was a big step for Isabella in today's contest. The results of quarterfinal number 1, Isabella Nogueira and Sean Oide, one Brazilian and one American, would advance to the semifinals.
Continuing on with quarterfinal action, in heat number 2 was Vicky Gleason from Port Macquarie, Australia. Vicky's one of the less experienced pipeline riders and couldn't quite find the critical waves.
Also, one of the European riders from Paris, France, Marjorie Lacau.
And Marjorie kind of getting caught behind on some of the waves, unable to find the open face, couldn't advance.
One of the top Brazilians, Stephanie Pedersen from Rio de Janeiro.
Stephanie, one of the strongest riders at Pipeline, for sure.
Also from Brazil was Daniela Freitas, another great competitor from Rio de Janeiro. The final results for quarterfinal number 2, Brazilian Daniela Freitas, Stephanie Pedersen moving into the semis, and as the competition continued, that strong Brazilian presence that Jay spoke about began to make itself evident.
In quarterfinal number 3, Erin Kamano of Honolulu couldn't find the wave she needed, but Haleiwa's Carol Phillips made a strong showing, barely missing a semifinal berth. Carol, perhaps the most experienced of all the women competitors at Pipeline, just couldn't quite find the big ones today. She's well versed in large and small waves, and she holds a national championship title here in the United States, but early performances couldn't be converted to make it on into the semis.
The third Hawaiian in the heat, Lahaina Maui's Liz Arlen, fared better, pulling into one of the few barrels of the day, and she didn't stop there. She knew what she would have to do to stay in this competition.
Winning the heat was a lone Brazilian, but a formidable one, Mariana Nogueira, the other half of the Nogueira sister team. Like her sister Isabella in heat number 1, Mariana made the best wave selections and hit the biggest maneuvers. Even though her performance moved her onward in the competition, she was wary of the unpredictable nature of the pipeline.
Advancing from quarterfinal number 3 into the semis were Mariana Nogueira and Maui's Liz Arlen.
There weren't a lot of great waves to go around in these heats, and with 4 competitors per heat, the 2 who would advance had to have the best selection of waves. That was the key, and in quarterfinal number 4, Alessandra Bove of Sao Paulo, Brazil, was short on scoring waves. Deteriorating conditions wreaked havoc on the less savvy competitors.
Another competitor who found a scarcity of scoring waves was Chris Ann Kim of Wahiawa, Hawaii, who gained an intimate knowledge of Pipeline's submerged reef. However, Claudia Ferrari of Guarujá, Brazil, found that there were some great waves available for the taking.
Claudia charges in huge surf, and she showed on waves like this one that she's definitely no stranger to the juice.
Winning quarterfinal number 4 was Isabelle Bissier from Reunion Island.
With the reef breaks of Reunion as her training ground, she seemed right at home, and her theory for scoring in these waves was based on a simple premise.
A theory that worked for her in quarterfinal number 4. Isabelle Bissier and Claudia Ferrari advanced into the semifinals, rounding out a talented and determined field of competitors. And we now move into the semifinal heats held earlier. Semi number 1 featured 3 Brazilians and 1 Reunion Islander, 4 competitors, 2 of whom would move into the finals to face 2 winners of semi number 2.
Finishing in the 4th spot in semi number 1 was Isabelle Bissier, who was inconsistent in her wave selection and despite some promising moments, finally bowed out of the contest.
Also performing well but missing the cut was Daniela Freitas, who could not adjust successfully to the deteriorating conditions.
Isabella Nogueira, on the other hand, found some of the heat's best waves and made the most of them, earning a second-place finish in the heat and a spot in the final.
As did her younger sister, Mariana, who picked off the biggest wave of the heat and attacked it with a vengeance.
This young Brazilian is an aggressive competitor, and she doesn't settle for second place. We can see her charging for some big maneuvers like this one right here. Let's take a look at the replay on that one. You'll see her carving off the bottom. A lot of power and determination on her face there. Goes for the nice reverse 360 right in the critical part of the wave. Keeps that momentum going into a forward spin. Drives down the line with all that speed she's gained up on the steep part of the face. Carves off the bottom, heads for the lip. All guts, all glory, and she takes a drubbing on the reef.
The two Brazilian sisters, Mariana and Isabella Nogueira, become the first two finalists out of semifinal number 1. Semifinal number 2 would feature a 50-50 mix of Brazilians and Americans. Liz Arlen, Claudia Ferrari, Shauna Uide, and Stephanie Pedersen.
Semifinal number 2 saw conditions deteriorate to such a degree that not every competitor could possibly catch the designated minimum of 4 waves. Liz Arlen was one victim of this circumstance, as was Claudia Ferrari. The pickings were getting slender.
In an extraordinary development, Hawaii's Shauna Uide caught only 1 wave in the heat, the one you see here. She got in 1 good maneuver, but then got caught inside during a closeout set and suffered some asthmatic breathing difficulty, which caused her to sit out the rest of the heat. Amazingly, though, she was able to advance to the final by virtue of her 1 good wave. That's how slender the pickings had become.
And Stephanie Pedersen found that to be the case as well. Not enough good waves, but the waves she did catch were enough to win the heat. It's unfortunate when conditions affect the outcome of a heat in this manner, but it's all part of the game. You just have to make the best of what you get.
So, Stephanie Pedersen and Shauna Uide advanced, rounding out the 4 finalists for the Mori Boogie Women's International Championship.
And as the final drew near, conditions in the water were improving. Todd, the wind has picked up quite a bit, affecting the surf somewhat, but there are still some very rideable waves to be had out there.
All right, it looks like our first rider is up, and on the outside, it looks like Brazil's Mariana Nogueira has found the first one of the heat, Jay.
And she gets a nice forward spin off there, goes for the reverse. Very choppy conditions. She catches her edge slightly there, and there's nowhere else to go. She dips out the back, heads back outside for more.
Okay, dropping into another pipeline. Left-hander is Mariana's sister, Isabella.
And Isabella, with a very similar style, throws the reverse spin out on the shoulder and a forward spin, and that wave's over quickly.
So the two sisters from Brazil grab the first 2 waves in this final heat, and they make the most of what Pipeline has to offer. Mariana grabbing a 13.5 on her first ride, with her sister, Isabella, getting a 7.5. Up next, it looks like Shauna Uide will take this wave, Jay.
Shauna Uide drops in, carving off the bottom. One of the bigger waves so far. Forward spin there, hits some chop, and the wave closes out. She's smothered in whitewash, somehow manages to hang on. It's pretty tough out there, Todd.
All right, some of the folks on the beach capturing this for later viewing. The last of the Brazilian women, Stephanie Pedersen, is up and riding.
And she hits a couple of bits of chop there, as they all are on these waves. Forward spin, nothing doing, nowhere to go.
All right, conditions once again deteriorating very rapidly. So after 1 wave, here are the standings. Mariana Nogueira in first, Stephanie Pedersen second, Shauna Uide third, and Isabella Nogueira in fourth. Coming right out on the second wave is Mariana Nogueira.
And nice belly 360 on this well-shaped wave. Goes for the lip. Big El Rolo. Can she hang on? Well, looks like Pipeline claims another victim.
All right, Jay, you're a bodyboarder. You've got an air like that. That has got to be some kind of pain landing that hard.
It definitely doesn't feel too great when you take that kind of a beating. Let's take another look at that one. Belly 360 right in the pocket. Very well done. She's looking for that lip section for the big off-the-lip maneuver. She hits the lip, flies out into the flat, gets demolished by detonating whitewater all around her.
All right, along with some bruises, she picked up a score of 15. So that will increase her lead. Shauna Uide coming in the outside for her second wave.
Nice belly 360 up there on the lip, and Uide can't find any open face, and she dips out the back, paddles back out for some more.
Okay, another Brazilian, Isabella. She's up and riding, and she is down the face.
And she carves a belly 360. A lot of the 360s today when there's no tubes to be had out here at Pipe. And a forward spin there for Isabella. She goes up for the floater and gets smothered by the whitewash. Hard to find a crisp lip to hit out there for these girls.
All right, it looked like she almost held onto her board there, but at the last second, I don't know, maybe she just lost her grip there with all that white water coming in on top of her.
Looked like she was making a couple adjustments to her leash there. And Isabella throws a nice reverse spin out on the shoulder that wave. And a forward spin, very nicely flowing from maneuver to maneuver, throwing the combinations together. Could not quite find that crisp lip once again that you need for the big points.
And yet another Brazilian, Stephanie Pedersen, dropping in on a fine-looking wave.
And she gets a cover up there, one of the few of the day. Throws a quick reverse out on the shoulder, and a decent wave there for the young Brazilian. This could get some big points for her.
Our 5 judges should like that wave, considering the conditions.
There's 5 judges. They judge on a scale of 1 to 10, and the top and bottom scores are thrown out, leaving a possible 30 points. So 24 points on this wave. That cover-up definitely added up.
All right, it looks good, and the Brazilians again charging to the lead of this final round. Again, another Brazilian dropping in. It looks like Mariana Nogueira.
And she's definitely had some of the bigger waves in the final so far. She's got a lot of speed across this section, looking for something big here, and she drives to the lip. Nice El Rolo. Wonderful execution on that Rolo. Mariana Nogueira showing that she's got the power to match the pipeline today, Todd.
A very tough competitor. She's got the best waves of the day. Up next, Isabella.
She carves it off the bottom, hits the lip, big roll. Oh, her hand comes unglued there. Her board clocks her in the back of the head, and she takes a big beating at the pipe. Isabella Nogueira finding the power to be a little bit much to handle on this one. She carves it off the bottom once again, hits the lip, the hand comes unglued, and she slides right off the board. And that's unfortunate. That could have been a big, high-scoring wave for her, but you don't complete the maneuver, and your score isn't as high as it could have been.
So Mariana Nogueira and Stephanie Pedersen going neck and neck. Stephanie up on wave number 3.
And it's a late takeoff there. She cranks it off the bottom there, looking for the pocket turn. Goes for the nice Rolo under the lip there, and she comes down. She'll find nothing about whitewater. She's trying to catch back up to the open face to get more points, and she ducks out the back. But a big maneuver should probably get her a few good points from the judges there, Todd.
Mariana Nogueira's lead may be insurmountable with the conditions what they are. Her sister, Isabella Nogueira, can only get a 6.0 on her last wave, and Stephanie Pedersen can only pick up a 4.5. So it looks as if one of Nogueira's sisters is going to win it all.
And one of the sisters up and riding right now, Mariana. She has the highest score already of the heat there, and she's trying to rack up a few more points there. Forward spin, reverse, digs the tail there. It's the final wave of the heat, though. The horn goes off, and quite a performance by these 3 Brazilians and the 1 Hawaiian out there, Todd.
And regardless of the outcome, the folks that came out today really got to see a great event. Mariana Nogueira from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, was crowned as the first champion of the inaugural Mori Boogie Women's International Championship, receiving a big hug from sister Isabella, who placed 3rd in today's contest. All in all, not a bad day for the Nogueira family.